FBI agent Peter Sutherland is living in the shadow of the Metro bombing terrorist attack that he stopped a year earlier. The fact that the Metro bomber got away and all Peter saw was the guy's rattlesnake tattoo still haunts him. Nevertheless, he's working in a strange office underneath the White House with a weird FBI telephone on an empty table. Peter blows up on an internet hater, the host of the conspiracy show Rome Tome, who suggests he's a traitor like his father.
The Rome Tome is a bunch of conspiracy theory trolls spreading lies. It'll all be fine if you can just learn 2 words, no comment. You pay your dues in night action, you put your time in that hellhole of a room manning a phone that never rings, and better things will come your way.
Rose, a cybersecurity expert, wakes up in the middle of the night, and her aunt and uncle tell her to leave because they're in danger. Rose's uncle gives her a piece of paper with a number on it and tells her to run to their neighbor's house and call it. The assassins kill Rose's aunt and uncle. Rose watches one of the killers take off his mask, and he sees her. She breaks into her neighbor's house and calls the number her uncle gave her. The weird phone rings, Peter picks it up, and Rose says night action and reads him the code. Peter gets the address and calls the police. While they're talking, the guy Rose saw take off his mask comes walking down the driveway. He comes into the house and Rose hides in a closet. The police show up, forcing the assailant to flee the scene. The president's chief of staff, Diane Farr, tells Peter to pick up Rose from the crime scene and protect her until they can debrief her the next day. Peter gets attacked by some crazy Rome Tome fans on his way out of his apartment. When Rose asks Peter about the Rome Tome guys, he tells her it's because they believe the conspiracy theory that he bombed the Metro.
I was not part of the attack, not a traitor. Neither was my father. He died in a car accident before he could clear his name.
Before Rose goes into her debriefing, she tells Peter she remembers overhearing her aunt say there's someone at the White House who can't be trusted.
But I'm hoping it's not you, and I don't think it's you. And I have to trust someone, right? I'm not telling the people in there the truth, not if it can get me killed.
Rose refuses to give Farr and the director of the FBI, Hawkins, any information and storms out of the meeting. Peter brings Rose to a hotel with 6 armed Secret Service officers to protect her and goes back to the White House to work with Chief of Staff Diane Farr. After Peter's shift, he goes to meet Rose at the hotel. Someone has pulled her Secret Service detail and the assassins cut the power. A chase ensues as Peter exchanges hot lead with the assassins. Peter runs out of bullets, so they jump out a window. They hide in a clothing store as the female assassin searches for them. Rose remembers that her uncle said we still have the drive in the woods. Realizing they were talking about a hard drive, they go out to Rose's aunt and uncle's cabin to find the drive. Diane tells them it was Deputy Director Hawkins who called off the security detail from the hotel, but he was found dead in a farmer's field. When Peter tells Diane he'll meet her at the White House with the hard drive, Rose tells Peter she's not handing over the hard drive to the White House until she figures out what's on it. The assassins find them, and Diane's the only person who could have found their location. So Peter destroys his SIM card, leading Rose to believe that Diane must be one of the people at the White House behind her aunt and uncle's murders. Peter tells Diane that Rose ran off and that he should be by the night phone in case she calls. Rose calls and keeps Diane busy while Peter takes her clearance card so he can help her gain access to the White House's powerful computers. When Diane comes back to the office to check on the drive, she finds it empty and figures out it was Peter. Peter then brings up the fact that the killers came after them at the cabin, and the only person he contacted was her. Diane tells Peter that when they investigated the Metro bombing, they found out the order came from someone inside the White House. They suspect it was Hawkins, but aren't sure who else might be involved. It's revealed that Maddie Redfield, the vice president's daughter's art professor, is collaborating with the snake tattoo guy who botched the Metro bombing. Maddie starts fooling around with her art professor when it's just the 2 of them after class, and they make plans to ditch the Secret Service agents so they can be alone. Peter and Rose go to Maddie's campus to ask her Secret Service agent Harrington what she was doing the day of the Metro bombing, thinking it could have been an assassination attempt. Harrington only gets clearance to tell Peter she wasn't tailing Maddie that day. Peter visits Hawkins' wife and learns that the day he went missing, Hawkins had a meeting with Gordon Wick, a government security contractor and CEO of Turn Lake Industries.
If you want to know who bad people are in bed with, you follow the money. And it looks like a lot of Turn Lake's money went to Vice President Redfield.
Holy shit, yeah, I'd say they know each other.
This goes way back. Social events, conferences, think tanks.
Peter also learns that Hawkins was Rose's aunt and uncle's handler, and their deaths were personal to him. When Maddie goes to an art show, she ditches her Secret Service detail so she can meet with her professor at his apartment. Her professor's boyfriend, rattlesnake tattoo guy, comes in while they are both half naked and shoots him in the neck.
Don't cry for him. He was just using you for save the environment bullshit. What I need from you is much more important.
The Secret Service find the dead professor and start searching for Maddie. Since they've figured out the vice president is one of the baddies, Peter leaves Rose at his friend Cisco's apartment until he's done at the White House. Peter tells Diane that they found the security contractor Gordon Wick and the vice president were behind the metro bombing. After Diane tells Peter to sneak Rose into the White House, Peter realizes Diane's in on it. Diane gets on the phone with Wick and tells him she's going to get Peter arrested and suggests they kill Rose. Peter tells Rose to destroy her SIM card and meet him at the pier. Peter's friend drops Rose off and gets shot by the female assassin. The male assassin almost kills Rose, but Peter tackles him and chokes him to death. The female assassin goes blind with rage and seeks vengeance after finding her lover lying face down in the Potomac. Peter and Rose hide out on Peter's godfather's boat. While Rose helps nurse Peter's wounds, they find out the White House's suspect in Maddie's disappearance has become Peter.
He should be considered armed and extremely dangerous.
Their relationship grows as Peter and Rose get intimate during their time together on the boat. The snake tattoo metro bombing guy is using Maddie to expose her father's involvement in the metro bombing and threatens to kill her. When the crooked CEO contractor ghosts the female assassin, she pays him a little visit. Peter pulls a flare gun on some Rome Tome fanboys when they start harassing Rose. Harrington and Monk find Peter and Rose coming off the boat. It's revealed that in an act of desperation, the metro bomber took his twin brother Mateo's identity, faking his own death. Harrington and Monk call off their backup, telling them it was a dead end.
Okay, Worley's dead. He OD'd a year ago, a day before the FBI was supposed to interview him.
He goes by Mateo now, and we've talked to people who've seen him this week.
Okay, if Colin Worley is running around as his twin brother, finding him solves both of our problems. We're looking for the same guy. We should be helping each other. We should be working together.
Maddie tries to buddy up with the metro bomber, telling him she wants to screw over her dad as much as he does.
You saw what I did to Paolo. I will do the same to you if you don't shut your fucking mouth.
When the vice president suggests they give in to the kidnapper's demands, Gordon Wick tells him that the wrong brother took the lethal dope they planted, and the metro bomber is still at large and behind Maddie's kidnapping. Harrington finally tells Peter who she was detailing the day of the metro bombing.
Omar Zadar.
Okay, so he wasn't the fall guy then. He's the target.
Why try and kill him that way?
Well, if you assassinate Zadar, half his country takes to the streets, right? But if you take him out along with 2 city blocks and a metro car...
He would have just been another casualty. So would I.
Maddie tells her kidnapper that if she sends a video directly to her father's phone, they will get a response. But she sends it to Harrington with a coded message only she could possibly understand. Peter tells Harrington they should crack the code before telling anybody, because if the baddies at the White House figure out she knows too much, she will be the next loose end caught in their crosshairs. Peter and Harrington locate the shipping container. At the container depot, they manage to capture the metro bomber. But then they start getting sniped at by the female assassin. She neutralizes the metro bomber as ordered and kills Monks, but Rose pushes her from her sniper's nest before she has a chance to kill anyone else. Peter and Rose find the evidence that links Diane to Rose's aunt and uncle's murders, and that the baddies plan on killing Zadar and POTUS in an explosion at Camp David. Diane claims not to have known about the murders when Rose and Peter ambush her.
The attack on Zadar was supposed to happen this morning when his plane landed, but it didn't go off. Redfield and Wick have frozen me out because they've changed course.
We're going to Camp David. You're getting us in.
I didn't know about the metro bombing ahead of time. I had nothing to do with it. I was only involved in the...
Cover up? Yeah, that's a lot better.
Rose gets angry with Diane and tells her she's lucky that she's not the one holding the gun. When Diane sneaks them into Camp David, one of Gordon Wick's guys shoots Diane and the director of the Secret Service after Diane tries to tell him about the bomb. Harrington bashes the other operative's head in with a statue, takes his gun and detonator, and Peter neutralizes another traitor in Camp David's comms room. Harrington finds the bomb hidden in a pile of Pelican cases. She's able to evacuate the building because Rose gets the Secret Service's comms back up and running. Peter grabs POTUS at gunpoint because there's a bomb on board their chopper. The bomb goes off, and Peter's actions save the president's life. Harrington is requested by the president to be assigned to her detail.
I'll need to think about it. I want it.
Peter asks the president to see the file on his father and finds out his father was in fact a traitor, but was going to help the US as a double agent and wasn't killed in a car accident but by a foreign agent.
What if I put you on the other end of that phone? The night action program runs deeper than you realize, reaches farther than you can imagine.
Peter takes the job and flies out into the sunset.